Hi, this is Eric, and if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, right down there is a subscribe button. Click that, subscribe with us. We would love to have you along for the journey. So if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please do. It means the world to me. It lets me know how much that this is appreciated and that people, you do get stuff out of this. And comment below. I'd love to hear input. I love to have interaction. I do get a lot of direct messages. Really do appreciate that. But I also want everyone to know that it's okay to speak out. And this video right here, I've had a little bit of a change up in my life. I got a little too into helping other people that at a certain point it did cost me my job. I have another job now. It's not something that's very difficult for me, especially in what I do when it comes to sales and it comes to helping people. But it was really something that was brought to light by my wife. And I had really noticed a huge change in my mentality, a lot of depression. I mean, this past weekend went through a lot of depression and a lot of hurt. I felt very betrayed by somebody that actually worked at the place that I had worked before. And I had given my heart and soul really to this person. If you haven't followed, what I do and follow how much I do care about other people and believe in people helping people, I believe in my salesmen and I believe in my staff more than myself. And so it really shocked and rocked my world. And my wife kind of brought it up to me because I started getting massively depressed, and I really feel that it hits in waves. And that is, don't budget your medication and keep your medication in check. So I'm ADD. I was diagnosed with ADHD when I was about 13, 14 years old. And it changed my whole world for me. Like everything kind of slowed down. Unfortunately, I have a very addictive personality, so other drugs do also slow you down too. That's how I can relate to a lot of people who are in recovery, because I am in recovery also. But one of the things that we cannot forget and cannot do is, one, if you take medication and you're watching this and you haven't taken it yet, stop the video right now, get up and go take your medication. You got to get that time schedule down for taking your medication. When we miss it, it does a lot. It really totally changes the chemical imbalance in our brain. And I'm not a doctor. I'm not a counselor. I'm none of that. I'm a normal guy who gets up at 4:30 in the morning and goes to work and works out and reaches out to people. And I've started this company also that I do on the side with the time that I have available of making sure that no one goes through it alone. Due to losing a wife and losing a father to suicide. And it all started to get kind of jumbled here these last couple of days, and I didn't realize it was because I had started to budget my medication. The medication that I'm on Adderall. This is my bottle, and your medication should never get that low. There's one pill left in there, and I hadn't even set up a doctor's appointment to get a refill. And it wasn't until it was brought to my attention that, hey, have you been taking your Adderall? And it really hit me, and I was, no, I haven't. And it's for ADHD. How's that going to affect my mentality? I'm starting to go down into kind of the pits of despair here a little bit, and how's this really going to help me? And I took my medication as prescribed, and that day it changed everything. I noticed that the depression started to go away. That I started to become re-energized and motivated and more outgoing again and more excited again. And it really hit me that, we don't talk about medication that much because sometimes we take it when we feel like it, or we try to outthink the doctor and prescribe it our own way. I'm very guilty of that myself. And sometimes, in some cases, due to either money or work or insurance, whatever it might be, we don't take it at all, or we take it in segments trying to make it last as long as possible, thinking that it will work. It doesn't. It's prescribed to us for a reason, and we have to remember that. When we are prescribed a drug, just like if you're sick and you get an antibiotic and it says take 3 times a day, we'll take that 3 times a day. But when it comes to a lot of our other medication that we should be taking that keeps us intact, we sometimes back it off or think that we don't need it. Or I'm gonna change it and start to be my own doctor or my own therapist. Well, that's not what we are. There's people that get paid to do that, and our insurance is paying them to do that. So let them do it. Don't let your medication get down to the point where you run out. Set yourself a reminder or write yourself out a note that like with my Adderall, if I get to 10 Adderall, I do 20 milligrams and I split them in half, and I do 10 milligrams in the morning at about 8:30, 8, and I do 10 milligrams at right around 12:30ish. And that's how I take it. And it's a lower dosage. Believe me, I've done all these ends of the spectrum on it to really try to find out what works for the best. Too much gets me a little too carried away, and even less than this then doesn't really affect me that much. But when I get down to 10, that means I have 10 days worth of medication left that I need to set that appointment, because sometimes doctors can't get us in right away, and we forget that. And then also we get into a panic. And let's face it, a lot of the drugs that and medications that we're on, you have to see a doctor to get that prescription. They're not going to just do you a script over the phone or over email and mail it to you and go down to the pharmacy and get it filled. So make sure that you have a budgeted set aside, that once you reach that number, that's when you actually call your doctor, you set up your appointment, and you get in and you get your medication re-upped. Because that gives you your chance to let them know if, hey, this is working, this isn't working. And it keeps that communication going with our doctor, because let's face it, it took a lot of trial and error for me to find out what worked for me. And if I wasn't very communicative and I wasn't young and I had the luxury of my dad being my doctor, and I could, Dad, what about and I'm not feeling right here, and I'm feeling depressed. Well, we have to do the same with our doctor. You know, my dad is no longer here. He's no longer my doctor. I have a couple doctors here in California, and I have to let them know, hey, maybe I want to try this, or this is how I'm feeling. I don't think it's all fixed necessarily by a pill. That's my personal belief. But to finding that right chemical balance in our brain, because let's face it, it's a scientific fact that the brain fires differently for different ailments. So it's finding that balance. But again, don't run out of your medication. I can't stress that enough, because that's when we really start to see the effects rapidly change in our life, rapidly change to where we start to shut down and we start to go in an area in our brain where we don't want to go a lot of times, if it's especially with depression. And having the medication on hand, that we can get it and we have it always available to us, makes all the difference. Since I've gotten back on my medication, you know, I've restarted working, doing a same career, just a different company, and my life has calmed down a lot more than where it was just a couple days ago, when I had completely stopped my medication because I wanted to budget it out. And if it wasn't for me getting smacked in the face, being told, hey, you're not taking your medicine like you should be, I might have even went further on the deep end than what I really wanted to, and what's necessary, because I don't have to do it to myself. I don't have to punish myself. You remember that you don't have to punish yourself. Watch your medication. Make sure that you're taking it correctly. Make sure that you're taking it on time, and don't run out. And when you start to get low, set up that appointment with your doctor. It's so important that we get in and we get to see them and we keep where we're at, because we're not going to progress if we regress. So keep where we're at. So don't forget, if you haven't taken your medication yet, and you had medication that was set up for today, take your medication. Trust me, it'll change it all for you. And let's make today a great day. And you know what? Check out our other videos. Hopefully you see something out there that maybe touches you or reaches you and sparks some life into you, and you go, I want to try that. Because that's what it's all about. It's all about people helping people, and knowing that it's okay to be not okay. And the funniest thing is, it's hearing the same thing over and over again too, but from maybe even different people, that eventually sometimes it settles in and we go, let's try that. Let me give that a shot. That, you know what? That makes sense. So don't ever stop giving, stop trying. Don't ever give up. You got this. So check your medication. Make sure you have enough set up for the upcoming week here. Take your medication today if you haven't yet today. Get yourself on a schedule to make sure that you're taking it correctly, of how it's prescribed, so that you get the maximum benefit from it. And make sure you have that open communication with your doctor. Having that open communication with your doctor is everything in the world, because that's how we keep where we're at. So have an amazing day. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, click the little subscribe button down there in the corner. And you know what? Subscribe to our channel. Check out our other videos. And hopefully you get some tools and resources that help you along the way on your journey, because together we can do this.